Welcome for this afternoon Milipol show. Today we are going to speak about simulation, decision making, geographical information system. And to speak about that with my guest today, 4 people. First of all, on my right, Mrs. Marie Thiel from Spain. So I just first a roundtable, and after you will introduce yourself with more detail. Gérard Duffieux from Maza Company, Alain Carteau from DG Next, and Mrs. Marie-Laure Dezonnet from GeoConcept. So maybe a first presentation. What is your company is doing in Spain, Marie?
Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Christian, for having us here. I am Marie Thiel, so I work for a company named Spalion, which was created in 1997, so that's approximately 20 years from now. It employs approximately 30 people, and we use big data and map big data to help decision makers. And actually, Spalion is organized into 2 core activities. One of them is technology, so developing softwares that we 100% develop within Spalion to map data and also to aggregate and gather data and bring it together. And also the other side, the other core activity of Spalion is consulting. And of course our consultants use our tools, our technological tools for their clients. And so if I sum up, it's maybe you want to go there.
Yeah, okay. We will come back in more detail on all those tools and the use, because that's really the core subject of our talk today. So Gérard Gérard Duffieux from Maza. So
yes,
Maza.
From Maza Group, which is SMEs, small and
medium enterprise.
Medium enterprise, which is in serious game 20 years ago. And after in defense sector and homeland security sector with software which is destinated to analyze, to training, and to after action reviews.
Okay.
And we are 50 engineers.
Good. Now Alain from DG Next.
Happy to be there with you. So DG Next is SMEs as well, created 20 years ago. It's a subsidiary of the CS Group. We work especially in operational system, training and simulation system. And so we work both on dual market for the defense and for the civil market.
And Marie-Laure.
Hello, I'm pleased to be there. GeoConcept is a company, is an editor of a geographical information system. It has been created since 25 years ago, and we have a version dedicated to the defense and a module. I will explain next time. I will explain about HLA module or simulation module.
Okay, so thank you very much for this presentation. We have 4 specialists around the table, and now we are going to go more in the detail about simulations. I would like to try first this approach of simulation with Gérard. Simulation is at the same time a tool that you can use for risk analytics, for exercise, and as well for decision making. So who are your customers mainly, and what they do with your simulation software, and what kind of simulation are you able to do?
In fact, 15 years ago, we were in partnership with a big group, Thales, for our customer, French Army, in order to develop software in order to train HQ at the level brigade and division. And this software is used by French Army to train HQ in order to evaluate all the procedures, the organization and the running of the HQ and the operational center.
So really a kind of battlefield simulation for the military.
Yes, in fact, it was necessary two purposes. It was to reduce people and staff as operator to organize the simulation, the animation of exercise, and the other was to have a realistic system in order to have the best information, in order to have in HQ level the best intelligence in order to give best orders.
Okay, so from there, you have created all kind of civil application and civil simulation that you are running for crisis situation.
Yes, after the experience of training in defense, 10 years after, Masa Group oriented a strategy in the way of homeland security, and I am in charge of this market 4 years ago, to provide the simulation especially to the homeland units, homeland security units, interior ministry, of course, but in collectivity, in the territory, and at the level of town, to help the people in charge of the security to visual all it happens when there is a drum, crisis, and so on. And the simulation help especially to analyze all the plan of continuity and so on, in order to evaluate if they are in the good way or if we can change, modify to improve.
So you are using also your simulation tools in the field of learning curve for playing exercises, playing simulation, and adapt the execution of those plans to the lesson learned in the simulation.
Yes, and the third point is to analyze after action review in order to have a good report, a best report, objective report, of course, to analyze all the learning information to improve after the organization, the running of crisis organization.
Okay, thank you. Alain, you are in DG Next, so you are also producing a kind of software where you do simulation and you do training and exercise as well.
Yes.
So, but it's maybe in a different ways, or?
Yes, it's quite a different way. As I said before, we both provide operational system and training system. So we provide a solution called Réunissant, which is dedicated to law enforcement and crisis management. And it can both be used for operational purpose or for training as well. In fact, we are able to manage to integrate very complex scenarios in order to train the different level of command to a very unexpected situation. This is based on a collaborative application that allows to each actor.
I think that we are going to see a couple of videos, and the first one from DG Next, that for the staff behind, and we are going to see during you speak about.
Okay. So it's this video is just a specific application on which we share a common operational picture of an area, and this specific application shows the use of drone sensor, which is able to provide in real time a video view of the scene. So it can be something simulated or something real, in order to geolocalize on the scene
So you can run as well a couple of scenarios from a situation with real tactical units and see how it responds to an event, because you are able to simulate the flow, the movement, and everything.
Yes, and we are also able to manage mixed simulation, what we call mixed simulation. That means that the people on the scene can be stimulated and as they do in the real life, in order to see the reaction and to manage with the after action review module what is good, what is must be improved in their action.
Okay, so we will come back on that, but what I'm noticing is that, in fact, when we speak about simulation, we see just behind the map. The map is everywhere, and the map in flap, in 3D, in satellite, in any kind of geographical data. So, Marie-Laure, you are working in GeoConcept where you handle those geographical information system for customers. So how you gather data, what is the new trends in this field?
Yes, I can explain because there are two worlds, in fact. The world of GIS world, Geographical Information System world, and in the opposite, there is simulation world. And it was like that before, 10 years ago, two worlds in French army. And French army asked GeoConcept to make a bridge between these two worlds. So we've done it. We have developed an HLI module, HLA for high-level architecture module.
Okay.
HLA is a standard which describes objects, entities of the simulation. So you can have on the network several entities, mobile objects, and GeoConcept is listening to this network, is listening to these entities, mobile entities, that are animated by simulators. So we don't have the simulator on
Built in,
simulator,
yeah,
but
but
we
you are
are
linked.
connecting to all the simulators that simulators from Masa Group, simulator from Thales, over simulator, because you can find simulators in each army, air forces, and so on. And so we provide the mapping, we display the information, we display it over civil or military maps. Okay? And a very important point is that GeoConcept provides the way to display official data, military data. So when you have a simulator, often you don't have good maps or official maps in each simulator because they focus on simulation and not on the map on background. So we listening object entities, mobile entities, and we put them on the screen on the maps, official data military maps. And you can, like this, have joint training, and you have a tactical tool or decision-making support in the chain of command.
Alors, we are moving from geographical information system and this bridge with a simulation world to the maybe what we could call geointelligence, maybe, or at least big data.
For decision makers, as
Big
you
data. So especially in Spalion, you work on a system which is mixed the big data and the geographical information.
Yes, exactly. So
And maybe we can have a view, and after we will
We
look
can
back
show-
on yours, but we can have a view on the Spalion video.
yeah. So this video that we're going to show you, it's a video about Corto, which is one of our tools. It's as I said before, Spalion combines very powerful softwares, mapping softwares, with the human touch of our analysts afterwards to turn big data into strategic information for decision makers. So here you can see a couple of things that we can do. This is, for example, for municipal police. For example, we have some municipal police that use Corto to turn the data from police records into information that you can visualize on the map. You can do many things, like here you specify an area. You can have flow charts. You can represent data in many ways. And so what kind of information do decision makers want to show on the maps? There's three kinds of data, actually. One kind is open data. So you can have, nowadays there's a lot of information that's available. Governments make a lot of information available publicly. For example, you have also I mean, terrorism. You have the global terrorism database that you can take and show on our maps, etc. That's for open data. Open data, what's critical here is to qualify the data. A second type of data, and it's very important for security, is the data that is client-owned. So, for example, a company that has expatriates or business travelers is going to give us their HR record, and so we can put it in the software in Porto and visualize
they
it.
have a GPS which allow them to be recorded.
Yes, also
you can
after that we can add mobile applications to have them recorded real time and know where they are. And so that's client-owned data. It's also police records I was showing you. This is client-owned data. And what is critical here is security, because we take our clients' data, and so we have to be 100% sure it's not going to vanish in the nature. This is why in 2005, approximately, it's 10 years ago, Spalion decided to invest massively and develop 100% its own
Cloud
software. Yeah, so we don't rely on Google Maps, we don't rely on any other technological bricks. It's all made at Spalion. So that's the second type of data, client-owned data. And the third type of data you were talking about, through mobile apps, for example, it's crowdsourced data. And nowadays, this is this is the big next challenge. It's to be able to bring information bottom up and then show it on a map and infer new information by crafting the three types of data: open data, client-owned, and crowdsourced.
So we see that I would say that new IT systems allows to do a lot of things for decision making, but it's really new. So the question is always the same. What is the challenge we have to face? It's not too much technological today. I think you show that we have the technology, but we have a lot of still cultural and security issues. And I would like to come back on those two aspects. The first one, because what is interesting to me in this geographical system, and after we can expand to the simulation, it's to mix, as you describe, data from different sources, from infrastructure data, I would say, from geographical information, but also from what I will qualify as live data. And the live data, as you mentioned, crowdsources, but you may have methodological, may have a lot of other things which are more, some are open, some are not, or some are free, some are paid data. So how you see the people, the culture of your customers evolving on that issue? You think that they understand what they can take from that, or do they think they go slow because they are a little bit afraid about the gap of what technology is allowing today?
Well, no, of course, clients, they know very well what you can do. For example, on the mobile applications and crowdsourced data, it's because of the clients asking that we have started developing this more and more. It's not security, but for example, we've developed something that's called Tell My City. It's a prize-winning technology that allows citizens to tell municipalities about what they like, dislike in the city, and to point out problems. And on the exact same system, you can have expatriates bringing information from the ground to the company about security issues abroad. So, yeah, they know the challenge. The challenge is also it's not only about that. The challenge is also technological, actually, because you also need to develop the technologies that are the most easy to use. Just click on something and then it appears. That's why we've also started to develop quite recently, but it's going very fast, dashboards for clients who want. For example, they don't want to have to learn how to use the powerful software with the very precise geographic tools. They want to be able to open a new page and have all the critical information. For example, a company, the mobility department of a company, they want to be able to open their dashboard, and they have a map and they have statistics. And they can locate on real time exactly where their expatriates are, and all this is interactive, and they just click on a button and they have the report. That every day. And so we're developing that a lot nowadays, and of course it's going to be very fast now.
And is real time and geographical a big issue for you as well?
Yes, it can be real time.
We are going to have some video of
Yes.
your concept running when you speak, because
Yes, with this solution you can follow, in fact, in real time and mobile entities that come from simulators. And I can say that our customers, the French army, they understood that the need of this solution, because you can mix, in fact, real information and entities come from simulators. So here you can see on your left, you can see VBS2. This is a simulator from Boeing Interactive. And this solution dropped the operator in the scene, in his training environment. And on the right, you can see the solution, geo-concept with the top view. And this view is called also God eyes view of the battle space, you know. And you can see on it several entities, mobile entities, like infantry, like friendly position, enemy position, and you can take a decision because you know the situation, and you've got colored icons and adapt to job, adapt symbology also, and the operator can take a decision with all the information. And these mobile objects can be real or not. In fact, you don't understand.
And I mean, you can do exactly the same thing in real time, yes. With no simulation architecture, but a real one on the field. But my question is, does that do we have the real network, size of network of communication to do all that with the technology today? Because sometimes we see that we are a little bit light on broadband
yes,
everywhere, and we probably those kind of application takes quite a large broadband, no?
Yes, but this application, this solution is based on a layer interoperability, computering bus, you know, interoperability layer, which came from pitch technologies. Their mission is to develop this system, and when you are compliant with standard, HLACON standard, you can converse with any simulators, and it can be a very big architecture worldwide. You can, and now the challenge is that you need with tool simulators not only for exercise or training, but now French Army want to put simulation on the operation theater.
Yeah, because that was my last question.
Yes.
The problem is forecast.
No.
It's to see if I'm doing that, what's happened? If I'm doing this, what's happened? And so the question is, could we run in very short time simulation to see the results of those kind of decisions? It's really very interesting in the decision making.
This is a challenge to put simulation in the real time, in the operation field, and not only training exercise.
You do that, or you think about that in DigiNext as well?
Yes, it's a very important issue. So, in fact, there are two things. The ergonomic of the product, when you speak about law enforcement and crisis management, is very important. The user has to forget the product and concentrate on their action, on their job. And the second thing is, in fact, what you said about the network. So that means that the product is able to manage to adapt itself to the network available. And of course, the data is not the same. You can't use videos if you have a very small channel, of course. But in our product, for example, we're able to manage to connect to the different network which are available, from public network to private one, Wi-Fi, and so on. So it's really a very important point in order to manage that kind of solution.
And Gerard, the same, are you using now your simulation tools into operation, or do you think that could be used?
Yes, the simulation is used for the operation, but for the decisional making, we need to define how it's used, because at the beginning, the simulation needs to be created and built on the realistic system. And to obtain a realistic system, we need to have a referent skill of the
So,
people.
lot of data.
Yes, soldiers, of course, in Homeland Security, policemen,
Yeah.
gendarmerie, fire bombers, and so on.
yeah.
And when we have all the parameters, after we need a main thing, it's the time. Because, in fact, to take a decision, it's the time is the main enemy.
In me. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the enemy.
It's why it's interesting if we can run a simulation which takes 3 hours in 5 minutes and to see the results.
Yes, of course.
I don't say that it's going to help you to decide really, but at least you have two options where you have run
Yes,
a model.
But in fact, to take a decision, you need to have, for the man or woman, of course, a brain with many informations inside. Or we have a big data inside the simulation, and this big data with the merging, mixed, and so on of all the information, we obtain a score, and with the score we can have, we gain time, and we have the best pictures of this option,
Yeah.
tactical option, this over, and the
Depending what you
and
run.
the
but-
general of the prefect can be able to take a decision, a best decision, because with the simulation, it's not a glass ball. It's not a glass ball, but we can see what happens, what could be happens, and what it's not good, and after the best decision could be taken with the decisional system with staff in HQ.
So, Marie, I have a question also on this decision-making process because they play simulation, we play big data, we can even mix those systems into geographical. Your system is slightly different because you bring information and how this information can be lead to decision.
Well, as we showed on the video before, maybe this would have been the right time to play it. I don't know if we, yeah, but by crossing different types of information from different sources, and maybe then applying filters, etc. Our software allows this to choose filters to select precisely the data you want to visualize. And by crossing many different sources of information, there's no limit. In Corto, the system we showed you before, the first software that Spalion developed, there's no limit in the amount of data you can input.
Okay.
You geocode it, you input it in the system, and yeah, there's no limit. So you input all the information you want, and of course there's the human decision. The machine is great, but then the human touch behind it is very important. It was the same as you said for a simulation. The system can help and accelerate decision making, but there will always be the human touch behind it.
Of course. But when I say that in the system you can run different also scenarios of mixed of. You can run scenarios in the system telling that I want to cross this data and after I want to compare with this cross of data.
Yeah,
and
of
so on.
course, and that you can do on Corto that I showed before. Also on the dashboards, you can do that. You can compare different periods of time.
Yes,
You
yes.
can benchmark between one and the other.
Okay, so it's full. Okay, so I think we have an overview of what we see as a system between your different system. I would say, what is the next step now? What do you think that the technology and the customer is going to go for the next year? In another word, where, without any secrets, but where your results go now? What are the goals you want to reach with new project, new research?
Yes, I think the next step in technology is to increase the definition of standards because as you see on the video, we can follow mobile entities, but it's only, how to say, points, and not also surfaces, for example. HLA is the standard, and to share objects on the network, you know, and it would be important to increase this definition to share the solution to share objects, not only points, but also surfaces, for example, between
So
several
to extend the
simulators.
standard
Extend
for
the
bringing
standards,
more.
yes, because we follow the standard. First of all, it was about points, and mobile entities only points, you know.
So more interoperability with
With
more
overcounts of objects.
Yeah,
Of
level
information,
standard.
overcount of information, and also JoConcept could follow this new definition.
Okay,
This product.
Alain, maybe.
In fact, the next challenge is to convince the different actors to work together and to manage the change, because we are now in a global world, and so we have to manage multi-organization decision-making. So I think it's a very hard challenge.
The challenge of everyone. Silo is still there, and it's always difficult to do transverse work.
What we try to do is to as you said, to save time in the decision making, and at the end to save life. And for that, you have to take the right decision at the right moment. Yeah. It's really what we try to do with our product.
So cultural and bring people together. Gérard?
For Mother Group, we are able to coordinate, to be plugged with all systems now. But the next step is to coordinate all several simulations in order to obtain a tool for the decision making. And it's my job, of course, because I am an analyst in HQ, and I want to provide for my customer the glass ball crystal, of course, but
So running 3-4
yes,
simulations,
of course,
some
it's
different in
but,
the same time.
To be serious, of course, we need to develop, improve the system, the tool, and to cooperate with all industrial, of course, to have the best tool. That is possible. I am optimistic. Together. It's a team result.
Teamwork. Marie?
Well, for Spalion,
next step.
actually, time is with us, because when we're talking about big data, as time passes, more and more is available. So yeah, time is actually not a problem for us. The big challenge, as I said before, is maybe with the mobile apps and the crowdsource information, and being able to have only one counter, and to be able, between the information you get from the mobile app, between the dashboards, and between the technology, the cartography technology, to have them all interactive and work together.
Thank you. But thank you to Haut. I think we have a better idea of what we can do with the simulation and the geographical system and the big data. So thank you very much for attending this talk. And I give you another meeting within 30 minutes for the next and last call, last talk on Milipol. So it's very noisy around, but it will be better in 30 minutes, I hope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
very much.
Bye-bye.